I want to react to the impeachment vote from yesterday and more reacting to the other reaction videos.
Oh, well, people need to be awake and they need to be aware. They need to stand up against the stuff. Oh, well,
Hi there. So as I'm sure you know, the House voted yesterday to impeach Trump, but it still has to go to the Senate, so he's not impeached. But anyway, so I'm watching a lot of these conservative commentators, and they're being kind of cheerleaders for conservatives, Republicans, Trump supporters. It's okay, it goes to the Senate, we're winning. So Trump's probably not going to get removed from office. But I'm really want to caution people against this. We're winning, yay, go us, we're winning. You know, underwater 3D, basket weaving, chess. You know, and trust win. I'm really frustrated by this. Everybody needs to get involved. The fact that things have gotten to this degree, the fact that we lost the House in 2018, the fact that New York State lost its state in 2018, well, that wasn't that surprising, but, let's see, 2019, we lost Virginia, like the internal Virginia legislature. So now they have Democrats for governor. They have Democrats in their upper house and their lower house. So that's pretty scary. And they're not wasting any time. If you've been watching conservative videos, they're talking about how they're gonna take the guns. That's on their agenda. They are hungry after that. And while there are counties that are like, okay, we're going to come up with sanctuary counties and sanctuary cities for the Second Amendment, we really need to start having conversations about the shape of this country. One thing is, conservatives really frustrate me because we continue to refuse to adequately fight. There still continues to be a bunch of people who just want to stick their head in the sand, and maybe they'll go vote, and maybe they won't even do that, but they don't want to get involved. You know, maybe you think you can't do anything. Let me give you some ideas of things that you can do. First off, you can start contacting other people. You could talk to strangers. You can talk to strangers on the internet and inform them what's going on. I wouldn't go and argue with people on Twitter, but there are times when politics is already there. You can inject politics into things. Share with people the stuff that's going on, like share videos. I know there's one creator that I follow, Meme the Lefty. He always tells people, get online and make your own videos. There's plenty of people making videos. I mean, if you want to go online and start making videos, you could do that. But you could also just share other people's videos. There's plenty of creators out there already. I used to say we needed more creators, but I think we have enough right now, because at one point they were going after people with a large subscription base. So I figured, let's get more people making channels, and then it'll be like, you know, whack-a-mole, where they're trying to keep us down like that. But I think there's a lot of channels, particularly try to prop up smaller channels. There's a lot of channels that don't do research, where they just read the mainstream media's news and then react to it. Especially, a lot of people do this while driving their car. So you can share existing videos and try to find smaller creators. Talk to people in the comments. Even talk to other conservatives, this is one area that I like to emphasize that I don't hear other people emphasizing, and that's finding these people who are basically like moderate conservatives, conservatives who just kind of vote, and talk to them about how bad things are. Trying to find, you can see people who maybe, one thing I've done is in local Facebook groups, I would see people upset about policies that de Blasio put out. So I kind of react to that. When they were particularly against de Blasio, I would private message them. And I would tell them, like, oh, I also can't stand de Blasio. I see your comment, da-da-da-da-da. And have a conversation and see where it goes. Maybe it's a Democrat who, as soon as they realize you're a Republican, they're going to backlash you. But if you kind of work it in a conversation, if you see that it's going in that direction, maybe abandon it. But if you see that it's going in another direction where they don't like someone like de Blasio, but they also don't seem to know a lot about politics, have a conversation with them. There's a woman that I run into in the laundry room. And I didn't even know she was a conservative. And she was like moderately conservative. And she's actually black and an immigrant. So she was always so sweet to me, and we'd run into each other, and I used to, as she'd be leaving or I'd be leaving, I used to think to myself, if she knew my politics, she would hate me. And then one day she says, I'm really against the mainstream narrative. And it never went back. Slowly, things unraveled where, over a course of weeks where I would run into her again and again. Because we're mostly in the laundry room at the same time. Usually the same day of week. And so she was telling me, first she told me, she's against the mainstream narrative. And then we had conversations. She's an anti-vaxxer. She has kids. And I'm like, well, for me, it's not really a question because I don't have kids. And at my age, I don't expect to have kids. But the thing about the vaccine thing is, it's just, I don't know. I question that we're getting one narrative from all sides, and it's very forcefully fed to us, that narrative. Anyway, so she and I had conversations about that. And I still kind of was like, maybe she's an anti-vaxxer and against the mainstream. Because she still, at this point, had not said she was conservative. And then, eventually she straight up said to me, she voted for Trump. And then I told her, like, oh, I'm a staunch conservative. So then she asked me, we're supposed to go to a Republican meeting at some point. So she asked me, but, she had no idea how to find them. So now, through meeting me, this person who was conservative, but more marginally conservative, is now going to be taking a more active role in her conservatism. I've stoked her conservative within her, or whatever you want to say. That is a very underappreciated role that conservatives can take. That you find people who are more marginally conservative and try to help them be, more conservative, more outspoken, more knowledgeable, pointing people to various YouTube channels, sending them videos, asking them, do you know about this? Do you know about that? Just to get people educated. Another thing is, because I know a lot of people their reaction to doing something is they want to do something, but then they say, well, I can't wear my Trump hat because I'll get beat up. I can't post anything on Facebook because my relatives will unfriend me. And I'm saying, think outside of the box and think of other things that you can do. Like YouTube comments. You can, a lot of times, videos that are not political may have comments below the video that go political. You can jump in. For example, I was on a basketball video at one point, and the video went political, and because there was a lot of discussion about using the term African American versus black. And so to the people who had said they prefer the term black, I was like, well, hey, black conservatives have the same preference. If you've never checked out the concept of blacks being conservative, this is a foreign concept to you. Like, here's some black conservative YouTubers. You could check them out. Do stuff like that, where you can point total strangers, and you won't know if you're having an impact, but just hope that you are. Get our side out there, get our voice out there, make sure you're voting. Emphasize to other conservatives how important it is to vote, not just in presidential elections, but in other elections. If you can devote some time to campaigning for 2020, what we really need to be doing is we need to be organizing. Like, I would really like, I don't have enough contacts in the New York City area of conservatives. I would really like the organizers, like people who run Republican clubs, I would really like for them to do is to organize people to carpool either to Staten Island or Pennsylvania, both of which are swing. Pennsylvania is a swing state at this point. And it's a state that's usually been blue, so it's pretty critical. And Staten Island is a borough that has been red, but it has a Democrat in office. Because Republicans do not get off their rear ends and go vote in off-year elections. And right now, the Democrats are all over, these woke Twitterati jerks are all over while we're patting ourselves on the back. We're winning, even though we just lost something. They're patting themselves on the back, saying we're winning. And one of the things they're pointing to the fact that they won essentially the 2018 election. They took back the House. And the only reason why they were able to do this with the sham impeachment is because Republicans didn't show up, and it was close. Oh, actually, one of the articles wasn't close, but the other article was close. One of the articles, they needed 216 to impeach, and they got 219. So if 3 more districts had gone our way, if they had not, that's 3. If 3 districts had a Republican in office instead of a Democrat, they wouldn't have been able to take on that one. And people sit there and they're like, well, I can't, I work. I'm so sick of hearing this, because here you are, first off, we all work. Everybody works, for the most part. But what you're not seeming to understand is you're working to stay afloat, but you're also working to amass resources. That's what, money is a form of resources. You amass resources, and if we continue to lose politically, the Democrats will get control of this country in an even bigger way. And they will put guns to us and just take everything we own. That's why they're importing people. That's another thing. We're not winning because they continue to import people. We're not winning because they continue to indoctrinate the children. This is another thing that conservatives are not talking enough about. They are indoctrinating the American children on a daily basis. They have drag queens. Do you know about the drag queens? I mean, if you're on my channel, you probably know about the drag queens. But if you do, maybe you can also please send this. Like I said, it's very important to try to wake up conservatives who are like maybe just, they watch Fox News once in a while and that's it. Or they have conservative reactions, but they're getting their news from the mainstream media. We need to move people towards more conservative sources of their news. Send them YouTubers, send them videos from Daily Caller, send them videos from OANN. A lot of people, go on Fox News. That's another thing you can do. Go on the videos on Fox News and tell people pick out like 5 of your favorite YouTubers who put out conservative content and go on videos on Fox News and tell people in the comments, maybe 1 or 2 comments on each video, a few different videos, and reply to them and tell people about conservative YouTubers. Promote smaller conservative YouTubers. If you have an online friend from Twitter who's a conservative, but they don't seem to be particularly... There's a lot of people in conservative Twitter who are just, your standard Fox News. You look at who they follow. They follow Fox News personalities, and they follow, like, actual politicians. Tell those people about some of the good YouTubers. Promote, pick out a handful of the YouTubers that you like and promote them. And also, maybe be willing... for example, I like Salty Cracker is one of my favorite YouTubers for me to watch. But he curses, so if you have somebody who's particularly Christian, or, I have friends who are religious Jews, I wouldn't necessarily share with them Salty Cracker because he drops the F-bomb. He's hilarious, though. If you haven't checked out Salty Cracker, shout out to Salty Cracker. I also like Magdalene Rose, and one thing that's really nice about Magdalene Rose is she doesn't cover, the same thing a bunch of other people cover. One thing is with Salty Cracker is him and Meme the Left, they cover a lot of the same stuff, but Meme the Left is kind of pulled back, and then also Conservatarian Curator. He used to put out a ton of content. It was very similar to what Salty Cracker puts out. And I guess a lot of it is kind of the same stuff that you might have seen from Tim Pool. Tim Pool's really covering impeachment right now. And a lot of conservatives haven't really even been covering it that much because it's what's there to cover? I think we pretty much all, if you're actively following things, that nothing can happen it has to go to the Senate. He's not going to get removed. But we know the real reason why they did this was they know that there's a huge chunk of Americans who just kind of read headlines and they don't really know what's going on. And then if you think about the fact that they're trying to get Trump pulled from the ballot in a few states too. So, the idea is that if people are seeing headlines that Trump is impeached and then he's getting pulled from ballots, that he may not win the 2020 election. That's the real strategy. The real strategy is that they're doing this so that people see the headlines. This is why it's very, very important for people to reach out to other people. So I've been babbling enough, but I guess the summary is we really need to stop with this "we're winning" attitude that conservatives have. I understand you want to like breathe a sigh of relief and keep moving with your life, but I'm here to tell you we can't breathe sighs of relief and keep moving with our life and just hope that somebody else steps up and stands up for America. It's time for everybody to do a tiny bit. You get a lot of people who say, oh, well, it's not enough. Like when I talk to Orthodox Jews, they say, we're not enough. Orthodox Jews are not enough. No, but if Orthodox Jews start talking to other Orthodox Jews, if, you know, and some of them will know people outside of our community, but if everyone touches one or two people and gets them more understanding of what's going on, because we need people to be awake. It's not just, okay, we need you to vote in 2020. We need to be telling people you need to start waking up. You need to start following what's going on, because we're in a really critical stage with this country. Talk to people about what they're doing in the schools. That's really, I think that can really wake up a lot of people. Talk to people about the drag queen story hours. Make sure people know this is going on in elementary schools. It's also going on in preschools. Because I see comments on videos about drag queen story hours, and some people will say like, oh, why would anybody's parent take their kid, you know, why would parents take their kids to that or send their kids to that? Well, some parents don't even realize it's going on, because it's going on in schools. At least here in New York City, it's going on in public schools. It's also going on in preschools. And that means taxpayers are paying for it, because preschools in New York City, I think unless you're very, very wealthy, people get vouchers to pay for part of their preschool, and then the vouchers come from tax dollars. So that's something that people don't even realize this. Like, people are using these vouchers and they don't even seem to understand it comes from tax dollars. Talk to people about what the Constitution really says. Like, even speaking to other conservatives, like, that's another thing is I started recording it already, but I'm going to record the entire Constitution, myself reading it with it on the screen. So if you've ever wanted to read the Constitution, then you can kind of like read along, or you can play it while you're doing other stuff. I wanted to read it. I figured I will just read it out loud and record it. So I'm recording the Constitution, and then I may switch gears at one point from all the stuff that I normally cover and actually start breaking down the Constitution. But the first step is that I'm going to read the whole thing. I've already done the preamble and part of Article 1. So I'm going to put the whole Constitution. That's going to go on my second channel, which I'll link in the description. But you can also literally find it. If you search Analytical Chick, both channels are going to come up in the search results. So the other one has my old logo with the AC, and then this one, of course, has my Chicken of Liberty. Anyway, I'm rambling on, but my summary is that my entire reaction to this is that I'm very frustrated by how cocky conservatives are getting and how much they want to sit there and reassure themselves that they're winning, when in fact maybe we're not winning as much as we'd like to think. I think a lot of it is people just don't want to get involved, so they sit there and convince themselves that we're winning or that other people are fighting so that they don't have to do anything. And I'm here to tell you, you need to find something to do to fight for this country. If only to start putting comments, start sharing conservative YouTubers, start sharing what's going on, registering people to vote, even talking. Like I said, one of the most underappreciated things that we need to be doing is talking to people who are already Republican, already conservative, especially if you are listening to me right now and you live in either a swing or a Republican state. We actually need you so much, because a lot of these people, they think, I'm in a red area, I don't have to do anything. Nothing I can do will affect anything anyway, because the people around me, they're all going to vote Republican anyway. Well, one of the things we need to make sure that people are voting in off-year elections. So when you're talking to people, that's something you need to emphasize. All right, I have rattled on and I'm repeating myself. Thanks everybody for stopping by my channel. I will see you all next time.
People need to be awake and they need to be aware. They need to stand up against the stuff. People need to be awake. People need to be awake and they need to be aware. They need to stand up against this stuff.
And it's so politically engaged. And it's so politically engaged.